Good afternoon. I'll call a meeting to order. Today's meeting is being streamed live via the Township of Addington Highlands YouTube channel. To those present in the gallery today, by attending a public meeting of council, you are consenting to your image, voice, and comments being recorded. Anyone invited to speak will be recorded, and their voice, image, and comments will form part of the live stream. The chair and/or clerk have the discretion and authority at any time to direct the termination or interruption of the live streaming. Such direction will only be given in exceptional circumstances where deemed relevant. Circumstances may include instances where the content of debate is considered misleading, defamatory, or potentially inappropriate to be published. Notice is hereby provided that under the authority of the Municipal Act 2001 and in accordance with Ontario's Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, that all information provided for or at a public meeting/consultation or other public process are considered part of the public record. Members of council, staff, delegations, and attendees should be mindful of using names of individuals or entities when discussing matters in public. Attendees are advised that they may be subject to legal action if their actions result in inappropriate and/or unacceptable behavior and/or comments. As per the town's procedure bylaw, as amended, all votes during electronic meetings will be recorded votes. All of council is present in the council chambers. Thank you. So we have approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Yantch, second by Councillor Thompson. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson. Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yantch.
Yes.
And that motion is carried. Item 3.1 is adoption of the regular meeting minutes of January the 13th, 2026. Moved by Deputy Reeve Hook, seconded by Councillor Yantch. Any errors or omissions? None noted. Councillor Thompson.
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yantch.
Yes.
And that motion is carried. Business arising from the minutes is the at C8651 Hughes Landing Road at Partridge Lake, a request for municipal concurrence on a Rogers Communication Tower, 156 Sheldrake Lake Road. We have a staff report. Patricia, do you want to speak to this?
Thank you. So yes, I did provide a staff report, starting with the bringing the matter forward from previous meetings. It was discussed November 18th and December 2nd, and council received the site selection report, the public notice of consultation, as well as an update on the communications tower at those two meetings. The public consultation period has ended, and a copy of the consultation summary and public comments that were received to Rogers is included with this report. The summary concludes that they received responses from 9 responses. There were 8 received that objected to the location and 1 supporting the construction. Staff have reviewed the communication summary, site selection report, some aerial imaging, some GIS mapping of the location, and spoken with the site specialist regarding the site and members of the public from the cottages on Sheldrake Lake. The proposed location, as explained by the site specialist, is not the only location that had been considered. And as council will recall, the tower was previously proposed to be located at 1417 Hughes Landing Road. However, the location did not meet the criteria and was no longer found to be viable. It is also understood that there were other locations that were considered as well, and those locations either did not meet the requirements or an agreement could not be reached with the landowner. The location at 156 Sheldrake Lake Road is on a private seasonal located on a private seasonal property along a privately maintained road, which travels over the Crown land. The communication tower is proposed to be located in the northwest corner of the property, closest to the road, It'll be located behind the existing cottage on the other side of its laneway and elevated above the lake. The cottage lots are all located along the same shoreline, and there are no cottages on the other side of the lake facing the proposed tower, as that's Crown land. I included a map schedule from the township zoning bylaw showing the shoreline of the lake and the cottage lots. The area around the proposed location appears to be treed. The tower is to be 40 meters in height, including the antennas and lightning rod. The area was severely damaged by the storm, the derecho, and many of the large pines were blown down. However, there does appear to be some mature trees still located along this area. And there were photos attached to the report and in the public notice. And given the proposed height of the tower, it is not expected that navigation lights will be required. The area is elevated above the lake and not located within or near a wetland. The property at 156 Sheldrick Lake Road is approximately 97 meters deep on the eastern boundary. That does not include the shore road allowance. And the tower would be set back, would appear to be set back at a distance that exceeds 80 meters from the high water mark. Staff have been out to the site as well and have no concerns with the proposed location. The tower is proposed to cover a radius of 3.6 kilometers, which will cover all of Sheldrick Lake Road, all of Sheldrick Lake and most of Scutamata Lake, and will reach or overlap with the existing tower located south of Cloyne, Tower C8504, which is a 90-meter high guide tower. The municipality does not regulate communications towers and therefore relies on the regulations of the Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada default protocol and with respect to public notification and consultation. Included in the consultation summary was a letter requesting municipal concurrence with the project. This concurrence should confirm that the applicant has completed municipal consultation, public consultation, and addressed all the concerns to the satisfaction of the township. The site specialist, Eric Belchamber, is attending the meeting today as well to answer any questions with council. And additional comments were received from a property owner on the lake, Carol Grenier, and she's asked that these comments be provided to council, and they are attached. I understand that this property owner is also on title with one of the other comments that were received in the package. And additionally, you'll see an addendum that we received additional comments from ARC and Christina Biel. Those are included in today's meeting as an addendum. There is a recommendation from staff that the municipality provide a letter of concurrence as the consultation requirements have been fulfilled and the concerns raised by the public have been addressed, and further, the site appears to be suitable for development. The resolution is included at the end of the report, a draft resolution. That resolution should also include that we receive all comments that have been received from the public. We can add that to the resolution. And Mr. Belchamber is here to answer questions of council. And then we do have participants from the public that have cottages in on that lake that wish to speak. Carol wishes to speak. Not certain if the other gentleman would like to speak, but thank you.
Thank you, Patricia, and Eric, welcome to the meeting. And Carol and Todd, you're welcome. Thank you. So, yeah, just as a starter, obviously the Cell Gap project is priority for every municipality in Eastern Ontario, including ours. And been a lot of money is being invested in the project, and I won't go into all the details of it, but obviously, generally what you will end up with in the end is you should have pretty well continuous service on every traveled road in Eastern Ontario. So, which will be quite welcome, and obviously, certainly for our township and every other one, it was probably one of the I'm going to say complaints on the top of the list starting many years ago, which everybody was desiring cell service. So that's just a quick overview and a perspective from the municipality. So we have opportunity here for members of council. Do you have questions of Eric or comments you would wish to make? Go ahead, Deputy Reeve.
I'm just going to refer to the addendum. Eric, did you get this, a copy of this? No? One of the most common concerns, I think, of the ratepayers over that way had was the road. And maybe Eric should look at the questions about that because they're quite detailed. I wonder how, because it is a private road, how do you handle about doing construction of a tower on the private road? Because since the ratepayers pay for that road and the upkeep, how do you address that?
This isn't the first time that private roadway has been used. We commit to building the tower efficiently and effectively in a season that is most conducive to minimizing and mitigating risk associated with the use of that road. Any damage caused by construction vehicles along the road will be remediated, as it has in a couple of instances in the past, and we commit to doing so. But we're legally allowed to travel on the road and can benefit from the same access that other people do.
Just another question. I think you mentioned in one of your responses to a ratepayers that this, because it's a 40 meter tower, there's a lot of concerns about having a flashing light. And I think you said this probably would not have a flashing light, right?
That is correct. Based on the fact that it is only 40 meters high, and the vast majority of other sites as part of this Eorn Cell Gap project having been 90 meters, they do require lights to satisfy Transport Canada's marking and lighting requirements. But as a 40 meter facility, lighting will not be required in this instance.
All right, thank you.
Councillor Thompson?
Yeah, so once the tower is constructed, there's not going to be a whole lot of traffic going in and out of there. Like it's going to be built. There's no need to.
That's right.
Heavy equipment or anything like that's going to be.
That's right. Once the facility is constructed, on an as-needed basis, a maintenance vehicle such as an F-150 truck or SUV would be used.
Right.
The only instances where those types of things would be required are for prolonged power outages when battery backups are depleted. A small portable generator would be deployed and plugged in. And again, it would be simply towed in by that same type of small maintenance vehicle.
Okay, thank you.
Ongoing maintenance would simply be once a year, if that.
Councillor Yanch?
I assume you're going to wait until all the snow is gone before you get started and the road will be maybe back to a regular spring conditions? Is that how you going to work this?
Construction timing is dependent upon being granted municipal concurrence, and then next steps can be scheduled and appropriately timed.
Any other questions? I just a question from on can our role here really as council is just to ensure that by approving a motion that we concur with the project, it is that we are agreeing that it's completed all municipal consultation, public consultation, and addressed sort of all concerns to the satisfaction of the municipality. We don't have any other role to play in it. We don't approve the project in essence.
The lens through which the municipality looks at it is, yes, has the proponent completed the required municipal consultation steps according to the federal government's requirements, which we have? And additionally, from a land use and planning perspective, is there anything objectively wrong with this location from a land use perspective? Are we on a wetland? Are we... There are very few instances, and it's up to me as a site acquisition specialist to find the least worst possible place to put these types of facilities. And from a land use point of view, this checks all of the boxes. It's an appropriate location using a very small portion of an otherwise large lot, looking at a 10 by 10 fenced compound with cedar hedges surrounding it to, again, minimize the visual impact on the area.
And I have another question, more for the members of public that aren't here or may not have read the agenda. When you look at the overall cell gap project, this is the last remaining site, I guess, to be finalized within our municipality. And I know there's been an exhaustive effort. Could you provide an overview of sort of the effort? I know it's
Sure.
implied in the report that's been gone through and how you've exhausted it, and it is the last tower to have a location determined.
Sure. As previously indicated in the staff report, there was a location on Hughes Landing Road. During the duty to consult process and the investigations required to satisfy the duty to consult requirements, the site was found to be unacceptable. As a result, I did a great deal of research both online and in person, having driven up and down Hughes Landing Road on a number of occasions, knocking on doors and speaking to people that own properties in the vicinity. The area is very challenging given the small residential parcel sizes themselves, the power lines that cut through the various parcels as well, and the setbacks required being 5 meters from any of those hydro lines. Being able to find a willing landlord. We did go fairly deep into the process with one individual. Unfortunately, it did not work out. And then there were other preliminary discussions with another individual further up and around Hughes Landing Road. So ultimately, I'm in the make it happen business, and this is a vital part of infrastructure for your community that will improve connectivity for both health and safety and economic impacts. And a suitable location was found, acceptable terms were agreed upon, and here we are.
And one more follow-up question to that in terms of helping everyone understand is the actual, I'm going to call it categories of property or that it can actually be put on, whether it's private or owned by a municipality. But when you get into Crown land, there are some restrictions. Can you?
Sure, I can speak to the
that?
fact that unfortunately, due to the funding agreements with our partners, being the federal and provincial governments, we are precluded from placing these towers on Crown land. We can put it on municipal-owned land, we can put it on private property, commercial, industrial, what have you, but we are precluded with our funding partners to put this on Crown land.
Which really limits some opportunities considering there's significant, the majority of our property in our municipality is Crown, so.
Yes, Reeve,
Yeah.
I have encountered that challenge on a number of occasions and found solutions to make sure that your community can be connected.
Thank you, Eric. Did you have anything else you wanted to say right now, Eric? Oh, okay. And any other questions from members of council? Okay, so Carol, I'll provide you with the opportunity first. Did you want to speak? Could you just come up to the microphone, please? Yes, there's a red button there there's the silver button in the middle. Yeah, sorry.
Gotta hold it. Huh? Okay, I'll just introduce myself. I'm Carol Greiner. I'm property owner on Sheldrake Lake Road. My father bought that cottage or bought that property 1967. We were, I think, it was Crown land and we were number 6. And I think that was all that they were opening up at that time. I'm second generation for that cottage. My children that are part owners now with me are third generation. Yes, that tornado or hurricane that went through, I think my property was one of the hardest hit. It sort of sits out. So we do not have in front, there are no trees anymore. Actually, I've got a lot of land, a lot of lawn now, and I have to buy a lawnmower, which I never had to do before. I sent out a notice to the other cottage owners. I didn't realize, or I didn't know, that there was only a few of us that got the notice. The people at the west end of the lake did not get any notice until I got the email list and let them know how they feel about having this tower there. And none of them are in favor. There is one person that is in favor, and that's where this tower is proposed. Patricia has all those letters. I didn't realize that there were so many because I asked them to don't reply to me, to reply to you. And I think Eric too. What else do I want to say? I have a letter here that Todd wrote, which gives some points on why we don't want the tower there. Number one, the biggest thing that I hear from this is that it is a private road, and it says everyone owns their own property. That I think is very important, that you're wanting to put this on a private road, that we pay cottage fees every year to have this road maintained. Guys like probably Todd go out there, cut the brush back, maintain the road. Ron Knoll, I know, levels it often. You know, that's our road. So we can limit who's driving on it or who's constructing. And then this one person that said, okay, to put the tower on his property. He probably has one of the smallest lots, hardly any waterfront, and he's never there. Go ahead.
So I think I agree with everything she said. One of my concerns is how much taller is this tower going to be to the existing trees? I have some of the tallest trees on the lake on my property because I had enough that a lot of them survived the storm. They're 80 feet tall, and they've been there for over 100 years to grow that tall. The tower is going on a lower part of the lake than the high ground. So as far as reception goes, it's always better to be on higher ground. And if that is like I'd like to ask you, how much taller is the tower going to be from the existing old growth trees? Like, just tell me, because I'll repeat it.
So,
I'm
yeah,
asking you.
no, just hang on a second. Yeah, so the tower's 40 meters and you're saying your trees are approximately 80 feet.
Mhm.
Eric, do you have any comments on, because you may not have all the details of that for each lot?
It would be roughly 50 feet higher than the 80 feet trees. We're looking
Yeah.
at a 40-meter tower. It's about 130-ish feet
Right.
high.
So it's going to be like double. So it doesn't matter where you are on the lake, and for that matter, Scutamata, you're going to be able to see this thing. There's a lot of land up there. Most of it's undeveloped. A lot of it's crown land, but a lot of the land on Hughes Landing Road is not. It's privately owned on both sides of the road. I don't understand why this has to be on lakeshore property when there is a lot of land that's on Hughes Landing Road, that's on the other side of the road. I mean, most of you are old enough here to remember the fire towers. You never saw a fire tower next to lakefront property. It was always in the bush where it was most effective. And I think this is kind of the same thing. I understand like the tower where the location is because of the range, but a couple of miles in any direction wouldn't make that much of a difference in the range, but it would make a vast difference to the quality of the property that we own, primarily because there is only 32 cottages on that lake and there is only crown land on the other side. None of us that are there want a place where, it's like a suburb on a lake. We all are there. We all maintain the road and the properties and pay the bills because we like it there. We like it the way it is. And part of that is the natural beauty that exists. And the tower is going to ruin it. We're not against cell reception. That is the future. It's just, there's got to be a better way to deal with this rather than plunk it on in the middle of the lake on the only part that has residential properties. Now, I know a lot of people, there's a lot more people now that live there permanently. It's no longer really seasonal. So 3 years, I'm going to be living there myself permanently. So that's our concern. It's not that we're against the cell tower per se. It's, do you want one in your backyard? Anybody here? Anybody want one on the other side of the street? I don't mean on a farm. I don't mean on a farm. I mean in town. That's what it's like. There's a little strip of land that's residential there, and that's where the tower's gonna go. I know a lot of people like up and around Vaughan, up around Markham, the farmland, that's where they put the cell towers. They've rented a parcel of land off the farmers, and they run power into the cell towers, and they're not as much of an eyesore because it's on farmland. But to have one just, I also know of one that's on Major Mac and Bathurst that is in somebody's backyard. It's in a hydro right away. And it's the most unsightly thing you could ever see. It's this massive cell tower that's literally just on the other side of the fence of this guy's backyard. And you can't possibly, I should have taken pictures and sent them to you. I will the next time I'm there. But you can't possibly think that people that are on the lake are gonna be happy with that. Have any of you been down Sheldrick? It's unique, isn't it?
Well, it's a very small lake. It's very shallow. It's not where I would have bought. My father chose it because he wanted to go fishing and he had his own business and he didn't want a telephone. And actually, he ended up dying from a heart attack there. My mother they didn't have a phone, so she went to the neighbors. He did eventually die, but that wasn't because there was no cell tower. It was because of where the ambulance was and how long it took to get there. But Patricia has letters from pretty much everybody on the lake, and nobody wants it except one person.
Great.
That's also the ones that know, because like she said, I had no idea about this until she sent out the email to everybody. Now, had I known, I would have investigated a lot more, and I would have got like this ball rolling a lot sooner. I know, like, I don't know what the bylaws are here, but I mean, I know in the city, I cannot just build whatever the hell I like on my property, and the neighbors just have to suffer. So I don't know, do we have a bylaw like that? Because it's the same thing, if you ask me.
Okay, without getting into a debate, but we'll just answer some questions. So the actual, I don't have it right in front of me, but you would know that on the top of your head, the distance within which you have to notify people, it's relatively short. It's, I forget.
So we're required to notify property owners within a radius of 3 times the height of the tower measured from the base of the tower.
Yeah.
And in this instance, there were 5 registered property owners, one of them being the MNRF and 4 other private property owners. And they were supplied with the notification package, and it was sent to the address that the municipality provided. So it wasn't sent to Sheldrake Lake Road, for example, if they're simply seasonal residents. It went to their address in Scarborough or where have you.
Councillor Thompson.
Yeah, so I just kind of have a comment. So I understand where you guys are coming from, but you also have to look at you aren't here full time, right? So you have to think of the people that live here full time and would like to have a cell tower. I mean, that's easy for you guys because you come here and then you're gone for 9 months.
Did I hear you say, or somebody say that the range, what was the range of
3.6
this tower?
kilometers, I think it is.
How many?
3.6 kilometers.
3.6 kilometers.
Right.
That's not even into Cloyne from out there.
But we have a tower in Cloyne. I'm just saying the people that live in that area, there must be people living.
Starlink, this same guy has Starlink.
Yeah, but not everybody has
Yeah,
Starlink.
because
I don't want to get in an argument about it, but I'm just saying, there's people that live here that would like to have full-time cell service. And I understand
But
where
they
you're
don't
coming
go
from.
That 3 kilometer, there's got to be somewhere else besides right in the middle of where we live to put that.
Well, and once again, I'm not an expert in that. That's their job. They did the investigations. I'm not an expert in that. I'm sorry, but I understand what you're saying, though.
Thank you. Eric, just maybe to make it clear, because I know this has a radius of 3.6 kilometers, and I know that has to overlap and connect with other towers. So maybe you can just provide a quick overview.
A number of years ago, I acquired the site on 41 in Cloyne, and it was subsequently built. And even with it, there is not the service that meets the Eeyore and Selgap project's objectives in the area of Hughes Landing Road and Sheldrake Lake Road. Rogers would not be going to this expense if the facility were not required. And based on the elevation at that location, we're able to have a significant compromise in the tower height, and we've made it as low as possible to minimize the aesthetic impact to the area. And having been there on a number of occasions, the tower will not be visible by a lot of folks based on the existing heavily treed area, despite the storm, in the foreground. You could hide the Eiffel Tower with something immediately in front of you, and that's the case here, where the tower will be on a side of the property that is not waterfront facing, and it will still meet the objectives of this project and provide service where in an area that requires it.
Thank you, Eric. Deputy Reeve Hook.
I also live on Scutamata Lake. I'm on the North Shore Road. And none of us have cell phone service, even though the tower at Bon Echo, it's behind a hill. We're all behind a hill. So no one will be on the North Shore Road or Auburn Point Road or up into the Narrows can receive any cell phone service. So I trust the work that Eric's done and his team, that they've found a point that can reach the maximum number of residents. And it just so happens that it has to be over at your place, unfortunately. But
3 kilometers away.
no, it isn't. No,
Other than.
I know that lake very well, and it's under 3 kilometers. So it will reach us, and I'm very happy with that because during the Derico, which you mentioned, when the phone lines were down, there was no hydro. We had no form of communication if there was any kind of emergency. We are cut off from the rest of the world. And we know that can happen again. We also know that one of our greatest threats are forest fires. Between Scutamata Lake and Highway 62, there's a tremendous amount of slash that's down. And we've been told that if there was ever a forest fire there, we're at risk. Forest fire is one of our greatest risks. And if that ever happens, I'm sure we would be very thankful we had cell phone service for our firefighters so that we can inform residents that there is an emergency like that happens, because right now we're cut off. We don't have any cell service unless we go into Cloyne. So, and also the question about property values going down. We did have a letter from a doctor said that he would find that advantageous, having cell phone service. As we know, there's more residents are becoming full-time residents. On the North Shore Road, for example, when we moved there 20 years ago, we were the only full-time resident. Now there's 6. And people are billing more full-time residents. And they welcome the idea of having cell phone coverage for health and safety. So I guess I would look, if I was coming into an area, I would think it would be advantageous to have cell phone coverage. I don't want to live in an area that doesn't have cell phone coverage. So I really welcome that. So I kind of disagree that my property value is going down. I would think it'd actually have more value.
This isn't about cell phone coverage. Nobody's against cell phone coverage. Who owns the land across from what used to be Hughes store? That's private property. Do you know?
I don't know. No.
I don't know either. Do you know? That's
Well,
private.
The southern part of Hughes Landing Road that Eric went along and he said everyone refused to have the tower on their property. And some of them have large pieces of property that go back to the road from the lake quite a ways back, but none of them would want this tower there.
That's my point. That's why I use that as an example. There's a lot of property on Hughes Landing Road that's on not the other side of the road other than the lakeshore side, that is private property that maybe a deal could be struck. Like, I understand, but would you want the cell tower in your yard?
Actually, if they put it on my place, I would welcome it but I don't think they would because we're too close to the Bon Echo Tower. So it's what Eric has explained. They've looked at all these possibilities. It has to be far enough away from a neighboring tower. But if I had property, and I do, if they wanted to put one on the back of my property, I would say yes, because it would give people cell phone coverage, which we do not have now.
I know, that's what I'm saying though. There's lots of property that they could put it on that would give people cell phone coverage. I want the cell phone coverage too. That's the way the world's going. You don't even get phone books anymore, and that's literally how everything used to work down here before. You'd look things up in the phone book or you'd phone a friend. Like, those days are going. But that doesn't mean it has to go right there where it is. That's the issue. I think there should be more thought and more study gone into looking at where a property is that's not so affecting the people on Sheldrick. A fire
Okay.
tower off in the distance is not a big deal, but a fire tower in your backyard is an eyesore. That's what this is about. Nobody's fighting that we don't want self-service or we want to stay like in the 1800s or something. It's not about that at all. It's about aesthetics, and it's also about the use of the road, which, like she said, we maintain. We maintain by our physical labor, and we maintain by our money that we put into our cottage dues.
Okay, we'll soon bring this discussion to a close, but Eric,
Additionally, we do benefit from the same access rights that our property owner does. So under his access, we are afforded the same access rights and privileges through our lease with him. The search area for this particular tower is very small, and shifting it kilometers away would be of no value. It would mean areas would still have coverage deficiencies, and there'd be areas with significant coverage overlap. The cell network is a very intricate puzzle.
Correct. But that person is getting compensated for that. Nobody else is. So he pays his dues, which he is now going to get compensated for through these guys, and nobody else does. That's a petty issue, but I mean, he brought it up. I
I
didn't.
was going to say, maybe that's part of the problem too. I didn't get it.
Well, I
He got
think
it,
in
so,
some ways
you know,
it
I
is.
mean, there's probably a lot of you said I would have taken it, but they didn't offer it to me, so.
Well, it's not so much, nobody wants it. But it's the fact that if somebody's going to be compensated because they have it and they're using public access thing that everybody else pays for, that is an issue with them.
okay, we've had some good discussion on this, and I believe members of council have a clear understanding of your objections and all of the letters that were received. Every member of council had received that as well, so they're privy to all the comments, just so it's, because you're just mentioning that a little earlier, that there were letters that came back to Patricia, so every member of council has had those letters to review. Patricia, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
Yes, I was just going to clarify the same thing, that any correspondence I received was included, and the only other emails that I had received other than what was in the consultation package was the email from Carol and the email from Ark and Christina Biel. I didn't receive a bunch of other emails, although you said to reply all. I didn't receive any from other. I just wanted to clarify that. On the summary, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So certainly we received quite a bit of input, and that's great, and appreciate that you took the time to come today and make your concerns known, and obviously to Eric as well for being here to help answer those questions because he's got his feet on the ground and is very familiar with the area. So are there any other questions from council before we move on? So I think we need to move on. So what are your wishes, council? There is a recommendation from staff and it had an amendment to also include all comments received from the public. Deputy Reeve Hook,
Motion to receive and adopt the staff recommendation.
motion seconded by Councillor Thompson. We will call a vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yanch.
Yes.
And that motion is carried. Thank you. So thank you for coming today, and Carol, Todd, and Eric. Safe travels. Thank you. We're on to item 5, disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. Yes,
I might
Councillor
not, but it's
Thompson?
not very important, but it's on 7.5. It's just a request for waiver. But it's from my wife, so I would just,
Okay,
I probably wouldn't vote on that.
Counselor Thompson, we just have a sheet that you'll need to fill out. Okay.
thank you. So one was noted from Councillor Thompson, none others. Delegations and petitions, none. Matters for consideration. 7/1, 2026 budget to set the first budget meeting date. And do you want to speak to that?
Thank you. We'll try to speak to this. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Yeah, it's this time of year again that we're going to look to set our 2026 budget. I'm sure most of you know that a lot of municipalities around us do this exercise at the end of the year, the end of the previous year. Our procedure bylaw stipulates that ours needs to be passed that first meeting in May every year. So until such time that that procedure bylaw is changed, that's the timeline that we have to work with. So I had a look back to see when we met last year for the same exercise, and our budget meeting was scheduled for March the 20th. The year before that, it was April 11th. So staff is requesting that council consider scheduling our first budget meeting somewhere in around March 24th or 31st if we're staying with meetings on Tuesdays.
Thank you, Christine. Does any member of council have a preference between the 24th of March or the 31st of March, both Tuesdays?
31st, I won't be available, so,
Okay,
and I won't be available at any time in April. But I mean, I can go on Zoom. I can still take, but I'll be still here on the 24th, so that's.
does the 24th work for other members of council? Okay with that? Okay, so we have a motion that we would set our first budget meeting for Tuesday, March the 24th in Flinton. That was moved by Deputy Hook. Seconded by Councillor Yanch. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Yanch?
Yes.
And that motion's carried. Item 7.2, Lions Club of Land O'Lakes, a request for donation to support 2026 activities. Deputy Reeve Hook?
Motion to defer to budget.
Seconded by Councillor Yanch. We'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Yanch?
Yes.
That motion's carried. Item 7.3, request from Pamela Rosenblath to waive the fees for the Denby Hall rental on February the 7th for a church event.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Yanch to approve, seconded by Councillor Thompson. Did you have a comment, Deputy?
A comment, question?
Yes, go ahead.
We're getting a lot of requests for waiver of rental fees on our halls and so forth. And I'm just wondering, when, in a case like this or the upcoming pickleball, what's coming, do we have cleanup? Do we have to pay somebody to go in and clean up after every event? So there is a charge for that. So they're called in specifically for that, or they're coming in anyways?
Go ahead, Christine.
Yeah, so our custodial staff are provided with dates of every function that happens in our facilities. And so they do go in after each function and clean the facility. And that would be above and beyond their typical normal cleaning.
I believe they're also required, though, the renter is to take their recycling and their garbage, which is a change, I know, in the last couple of years, which makes a fair bit of less work if there's a lot of rentals that the custodian doesn't have to haul stuff.
No, when we had the hall, whenever we rent the hall for a dance, whatever, we scrub the floor, we sweep the floor, put tables, chairs, everything's clean, like there's nothing left to do. Of course, the cleaner, the custodian's with us, but.
Okay,
Just a little comment on that. That's the Denby Recreation Committee that is renting the facility for that. So it's a little bit different arrangement, similar to the Flinton Recreation Club that's here too. It's not the same as a member of the public renting the facility.
any other questions? We had a mover and a seconder, didn't we? Yes, we did, yeah. Okay, I'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Yantch?
Yes.
That motion's carried. Item 7.4 from Land Lakes Horticultural Society, a request for donation to their 2000 pitch-in for Mother Earth event. Christine?
If I could just add here, I know the staff or the recommendation on the agenda is to defer to budget. I will note that this particular event takes place in advance of our budget adoption. So council may want to consider approving this prior to the budget being adopted, if that's what they wish to do.
Councillor Yantch?
Make a motion to approve this.
Moved by Councillor Yantch to approve, seconded by Deputy Reeve Hook. Any other comments? We'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook? Councillor Yantch?
Yes.
The motion's carried. Item 7.5, a request from Bonnie Thompson to waive rental fees for the Community Center Gym in Denby for a seniors pickleball league. Recommendation, Deputy Reeve Hook.
Further to my comments before, I support pickleball. I've never played it, but I know it's very, very popular. I quite often use the Quinning Wellness Center, and there are like probably hundreds of people that use it, but they all pay a fee because there's always a charge for the cleanup and stuff. So maybe I'm not going to be popular, but I'm suggesting that because this is a weekly thing, and then we have to, I'm a big fan of user pay. And if there's a small charge for getting cleanup in there, I don't think it's unreasonable to have the participating people pay a small, maybe even as $1 or $2 and that would pay for the cleanup. So that we don't get into the habit of, it's just everybody that wants to haul, they get it for nothing, because there is a charge for the other ratepayers. So, so that would be kind of where I stand on that.
Any other comments from council?
I think I've
Go ahead.
brought that up a few times over the years, Ken, that there should be some kind of monetary fee, but
Sometimes these events are ran through a recreation committee if the person happens to be on the committee. If they're not on the committee, then they're doing the event on their own as a community volunteer. So it's kind of one of those things that happens in different locations. In some cases we have in the past, especially if the people are charging for, I know historically, if they are charging the participant, then often we would typically have charged some fee to the organizer. But if they're not charging the participant anything, we typically don't charge them.
yeah, I'm just wondering if we might discuss this sometime and get some kind of a handle on this. Because if they're, they could very well be going through the Denby Recreation Club, I'm not sure, but I think maybe we need to just to figure some of this out, but not at this time. I would approve this.
So you're making a motion to approve that? Okay. S- Seconder? Oh, yeah. Well,
No, no. Deputy Reeve Hook had seconded, and then it can be reflected in the vote how the decision is made. Otherwise, without a seconder, the resolution just stops.
so, yeah. Yes. May I ask a question just about a possible amendment? Is that you would include in that we request staff to I guess bring back a report on options to address these types of situations where we have individuals renting a facility and they're not part of an organization. Deputy Cook?
I would support that. I mean, it wouldn't have to even be a total cost recovery. I don't know what the charge is, but just something to help pay that. And I don't think it's going to turn away anybody who wants to play
Yeah.
pickleball
Yeah.
because it can't come up with a buck or two or something like that. Just something to help pay for it.
Yeah, but in this case, rather than hold it up, it would be, we would waive it in this case, but we would ask staff report. That's what I'm suggesting that it would be. So we could deal with it in the
Yeah.
future properly.
Okay with that.
So we don't have a seconder yet to discuss it.
I'm a little confused. So are we approving it for this season to, or to be no charge?
That,
Yeah, I'm asking that we let this do this right now, let them use the gym. But with staff coming back with some kind of recommendations, how we're going to handle this on, whether it be start next year or start in the fall or wherever, but that's the whole intent of this.
so it will just, we don't have a seconder, so we can't really discuss it. We're just trying to get the motion clarified. Or it just falls, just drops. And we're left with no decision.
I don't really have anything else to say other than we've been doing this quite a long time, letting people use our facilities and with no charge. And now today we're deciding we're not going to do that. I'm not, I understand it, but I don't think we should be doing that. And then when we have an amendment that that added to the recommendation is that we're going to look into this on further cases, then everybody in the public will know that. But right now, I think this should have a seconder and go ahead with it.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Deputy Reeve Hook. So any other comments? Christine, would you like to?
Just have one little thing to add because I did put it in the on the agenda. The fee to rent that facility, just so you know what kind of money you're looking at, is $40 to rent the gymnasium. Just to put it in a bit of context.
Thanks. Deputy Reeve Hook?
Would that $40 be the cost of the caretaker fee, or is it the caretaker get less than that?
When the rental fees were determined, it really didn't take into account the cost for the custodian.
It did, or it didn't?
It did not. Sorry, Ken.
Okay.
It was just, I think we looked at what we were charging in other facilities in the municipality and we determined a fee that we thought was appropriate.
Right.
So there wasn't really an analysis that took place to determine what the appropriate rental fee would be.
Okay, so potentially it could be less than that.
Absolutely.
Whatever the committee decides, right?
Absolutely. And a staff report can bring back different options on how to deal with each of these, right? Like
Yeah.
it could be a stepped approach according to whomever is happening to rent the facility and what that structure looks like, whether it's a paid participation or not.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions on it? And so Councillor Thompson's not in this vote. He's abstaining. So we'll
Yes.
call the vote, Deputy Reeve Hook. Yes, a yes, and
Yes.
that motion is carried. Thank you. We're to 7.6, Quinte Conservation 2026 Community Trees Program. Patricia, go ahead.
I just wanted to speak to this item to let council know that we had a very difficult time last year when we participated in this program and giving all of the trees away. There was not a lot of interest this time, but we were lined up and had more people than we had trees the first time we did it. But the second time we actually had trees that we had left over that we then approached people and tried to give away.
Yeah, so there may be benefits here in just not participating this year and then deciding on year by year. Go ahead, Councillor Thompson.
Same in Denby when I was given, nobody showed up hardly. I mean, I planted a lot of trees. I tried to give as many away as I could, but I still had few that I couldn't get all planted.
Okay, Patricia,
Yes,
go
but
ahead.
I meant to add that is something that if council chose not to participate this year, then we could look at again the next year and perhaps do it every other or something if there's interest.
Okay, we have a motion. Deputy Reeve Hook,
Motion to receive.
motion to receive and not participate this year, seconded by Councillor Yantch. We'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yantch, the motion's carried. Item 7.7, proposed high-speed rail from Toronto to Quebec City. And we have a few pieces of correspondence, when I say correspondence, information that's been provided to us. I don't know who all has looked into it. There's a lot of information online. One thing I just, a couple of comments I'd asked Christine about selection criteria, how they go about determining it. There is an awful lot of information online when you go through and read everything that's been provided there. I mean, this is it depends on where you live, whether you think you want it to go through your community, which is typical. I mean, we are Addington Highlands, and along with all the municipalities on this northern route, are very much generally scenic areas with lots of lakes, water bodies, and swamps and rock obstacles to work through. So they're for us and our neighbors to the south of us, there's sort of two routes that are being looked at, and there's many opportunities to also comment online as well. So we've been provided, there's ways to participate. Our council can also take a position and provide comments back. We're encouraged to do that. The community is encouraged to do that. We have an opportunity here to then, I'm just throwing this out for discussion, to post this information on our website and social media and encourage our community to comment. I know some people from our community have already commented on it when you go there and look. And also for council to think about this for a week or so. If they have some comments they want to bring back and make part of a council submission of our comments on the proposal. So I will open the floor to comments from the other members of council.
The next, or the closest public meeting is March the 5th in Madoc for us. So it's going to be up at the Township Community Hall north on 62 Highway. So I plan to attend that. I've been to the website and made a pin on the map and commented that when you look at the information where the rail line has got to be flat, I mean, this is Addington Highlands, so there's nothing flat here. So I can't imagine once they look at the topography of the land, it would even be feasible to put it down the 506 corridor route because there's nothing flat on that. And even though they say they're not adverse to drilling tunnels, I mean, that have to be one consecutive tunnel, I think, or to be flat. So anyways, I just can't imagine it's going to occur up to the north end, and it's probably going to occur in the south end, but that's just my opinion.
I'm also going to one of those sessions. And Joel had mentioned to us, it's an open house forum, so you can just walk around and look at stuff, and no official sort of formal presentation as part of it. Any other comments, council? So I'm suggesting we need a resolution that we posted on our website, on social media. This information encourage the public to comment on it, to provide some input, and to request any comments from council members to bring that back to the next meeting, and we can decide from there whether we make a submission from our municipality. This doesn't prevent us from making submissions down the road. There's and being involved. So just at this stage, it's an opportunity to provide some input. Any member of council want to make a motion?
I'll say whatever. you
Council
say.
Hatch, whatever I said.
That's
So
what
there's only three words in there, Christine. Whatever I said. You got it. Okay with that? Okay, we have a mover. Seconder, Deputy Reeve Huck. Any other comments? We'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson.
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Huck.
Yes.
Councillor Yantz.
Yes,
That motion's carried. Thank you. Item 7A is a resolution for the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville seeking support of their resolution calling for Bill 9 to proceed. Council's wishes.
Make a motion to receive and support.
Moved by Councillor Thompson. Seconded by Deputy Reeve Hook. Other comments? No, we'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson.
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yantz.
yes.
That motion's carried. Item 7.9, a resolution from the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus. I won't read the entire thing, but it's supporting the resolution to not support the changes to the OMERS Act that would change in how it's governed. I think I may have brought it up at council meetings or maybe budget meetings years ago. That certainly it was my concern when I looked at the OMERS sort of funding, that you don't ever end up with OMERS being shortages in that fund being downloaded to a municipality where they come around and say, based on your population or whatever, that you have to now cough up some money to support this pension fund. So don't change the governance of it. That's the message in this resolution. Councillor Yantz.
Yes, I'll make a motion to receive and support.
Second by Councillor Thompson. Any comments? Call the vote. Councillor Thompson.
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yantz.
Yes,
And that motion's carried. Matters for information. To have a motion to receive all matters for information. To start with, moved by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Deputy Reeve Hook. Anything someone wants to remember what council wants to bring out? I don't see any. I'll make one comment on 8.10 regarding the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus. Just to note that our warden, Nathan Townend, is now the 2026 Vice Chair of the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus. And not only that, he's also now the 2026 Chair of the Board of Health for the Southeast Public Health Unit. So he's very busy man, moving to into a lot of roles, leadership roles on various committees within our province. So Any comment? Nothing else to bring out? I'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook,
Yes,
Councillor Yance.
Yes,
That motion's carried. Reports of committees and boards, community control group head meeting coming up in a while, I think. Nothing in personal finance, properties and waste. 9.5, I think, Brett, a working group, waste management, waste diversion. You wanted to have a meeting? We could speak to that right now.
Yeah, I'd like to set up a meeting in the near future, I guess, to discuss the operations of the waste sites. With the new recycling program underway and new bins to go in service soon, we'll have to decide how we want to, whether we want to make any changes to the way things are done at the waste site, because we'll have some more capabilities, I guess, that can be done.
Okay, we typically meet on Tuesday mornings
That's typically a Tuesday morning, yeah.
at 9, I think,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah. So when did you want, how important, do you want to do it in the next few weeks?
Yeah, that would be a preference. It's fairly open to everybody else's schedule.
On the
so.
10th, we have a special council meeting at 1. That's in Denby, but it's here. The special one's here. The 10th. The 17th, we have a council meeting in Denby in the afternoon. The 24th. We could probably fit it in either morning, Brett, the 10th or the 17th, I think. Do
Yeah,
staff know of any other reason we couldn't? No.
I'm
It's just a
open-
committee anyway. You okay?
Yeah, I'm open with whatever's going to work for the group. So
Councillor, Deputy Reeve Hook, you're on that as well, so do you have any the 10th or the 17th in the morning at 9?
okay.
10's the best?
Pardon?
You have tech.
I would have one. It'd be in the afternoon. Though, probably if I just got to take a look. Yeah, I'd be fine. It's not going to be a super long meeting anyways, I think. So we'll make it work.
Okay, so we need a motion then to set up a working group meeting for waste management, waste diversion for Tuesday, February the 10th at 9 a.m. in Flinton.
Correct.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a mover. Councillor Yance moved that, seconded by Deputy Reeve Hook. I guess no other comments. We'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook,
yes.
Councillor Yance.
Yes.
And that motion's carried. Thank you. 9.6 East Lennox and Addington OPP Detachment Board. I just make a brief statement about it. Our previous Reeve Henry Hogg was on part of sort of the initial establishment and the organization of those boards. And with Henry's passing, I'm now involved in it. I had our first meeting on January 29th with the board. I found that forum very open, collaborative between the members, which include the OPP, a member from each lower tier council, and 2 community reps. An excellent environment in discussing the business. A couple comments to just bring back from that is they wanted to highlight was the RIDE program funding, which RIDE program funding and RIDE programs they run in communities. They can run any time of year. Often you see them at Christmas, but they can be in the summer too as well. It is incremental funding to an OPP budget. And so they were able to obtain new dollars from the province this year to run 15 RIDE programs per year in their area for each year for the years 2026 to 29. So it's 4 years funding they've got to run RIDE programs. So, which good thing. Crime stats are generally down. They also are looking for support from the lower tiers. I briefly discussed with Christine to help them in, I'm going to say, advertising or broadcasting the need for more auxiliary OPP officers. They're on a bit of a campaign to get a few more folks. You do not need an OPP background to be an auxiliary officer. And also this CAMSAFE program, which we was presented to council quite some time ago, I think by a previous detachment commander. Some communication from that they'll provide us for our municipality to also put out and broadcast to the public. We don't need, I don't think we need any motion there at all. I just want to provide that report. So the detachment board meets roughly every quarterly, and they will move it around. I think one of the meetings is going to be here in Addington Highlands. So thank you. Do you need my report, a motion to receive it? No. You want one? Need a motion to receive the report. Moved by Deputy Hook, seconded by Councillor Yanch. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson.
Yes.
Deputy Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yanch.
Yes.
That motion's carried. Anything from the library board? Joint Fire Committee? Reports of officers. Under 10.1, Manager Roads and Waste. You have a couple reports. One report, 10.11. Roads and Waste update February 3rd. Brett, we'll turn that over to you.
Yep. Afternoon, everybody. Just a quick update on the roads department. Winter operations are continuing as required, which seems like it's pretty well every day now, but it's been that type of winter. They've been busy, and it's been tough to keep the roads open with the cold temperatures and snow on most days. We will be starting to cut banks throughout the township to allow for more snow storage and increased visibility. So when you cut the tops off the banks, then you can just flip the snow over top and it goes back in farther. So we're going to do some of that. We have been doing some bank removals and pushbacks type of thing to allow for increased visibility at intersections. And we're going to continue doing that as we go forward. Just a reminder to everybody about depositing snow on the roads, right? You're not supposed to do it. It's against the Highway Traffic Act and against the law. So if you're pushing your driveway snow out and leaving it in the center of the road, you can be charged for it. And it's not so bad, I guess, if the plow hasn't already been through, but when we have to go back and make several trips to clean up a road, it makes a heck of a mess and a lot of waste of resources and time. We did receive some good news the other day about the pothole prevention and repair program. So we're going to receive a little bit of funding that way. We have some paperwork to submit and stuff like that yet, but we'll get a little bit of funding there. As far as winter sand, it's getting down. Our salt supplier has mentioned that Lennox and Addington County has used approximately 70% of our predicted amount for 25-26 season, and that was up to the middle of January. So we've had some snow since then, and there's still some winter left, I presume. So it's been an extreme year, and I think all of our residents and township knows it. Our drivers and our workers definitely notice it. They've been working lots of overtime, and they deserve a lot of credit for keeping things opened up for all the residents of the township. We did have a TAC meeting in December, and I attached the minutes there. If anybody has any questions or anything like that about it, I can try and answer it, but I think it's pretty pretty straightforward. Bridge Street, is now open, with one lane of traffic there. We installed some road plates and some traffic control items to allow passenger vehicle traffic through there. We want to encourage, we've tried to sign it as good as we can, that we do not want trucks traveling through that portion of the road. We don't know what will happen if that does happen, I guess is the best way to put it. So, as far as the waste department, oh, sorry, I skipped over one part, in the roads department. We received some information from our consultant the other day, and this is kind of an add-on thing. It's a Rural Ontario Development Program. They have some funding availability for community infrastructure enhancements. It's 35% cost share, and you can get up to $250,000 type of thing. Our consultant was wondering if we might consider applying for it for something like the River Road structure that is a wooden structure and is in dire need of replacement. So I think the funding application is due the end of February, so we would have to get on our horses and get things going. But we have reached out to the Eastern Ontario Trails Alliance, and I was going to approach the snowmobile club as well, see if we could kind of combine efforts and apply for the funding if council thought it was fit for us to do so. So that's one thing I thought I'd bring up at this point. Some of the other things that that this program's been used for in the past is the KP trail down there. They got some funding from it. Some other sections of trails have gotten funding so that'd be similar type projects of what we would be looking at. So,
Councillor Yance?
So does this mean that a vehicle would be able to cross that bridge now? If we should get funding and do the necessary repairs?
yeah, that would be the intention under my thoughts. So we might be able to, since the township would have to come up with a portion of the money as well, you might be able to do some in-kind work type of thing to help with that, right? Is what I would prefer to do. So that was my thoughts anyways at this point. So.
Thanks, Brett. I think that would be very good. I know the road needs much work, but I mean, that might be a start. Thank you.
Yeah.
Councillor Thompson?
Yeah, so with that grant, could it be applicable to, say, the culvert and dip?
It's a little different situation, right? So
I don't know much.
yeah, so our consultant that that brought this forward to me suggested it'd be more suited to something like the trail or the River Road type of thing. Well, I guess it's O'Donnell Road, or whichever you want to call it. There's some old names for it and some new names for it. So yeah, that's what he suggested at this point. So, yeah.
So just to clarify, Brett, it's 30% up to 250. Is it the 30% our 30%? Is that what we contribute?
It'd be
The other way
35% that the government would provide.
They would
So-
provide
So we'd be
35?
on the hook for 65. So.
Okay, 35, okay. So, and we'd have to apply for that prior to budget. So I have no idea where that would put us, because it's a commitment. Do you have any comments, Christina? Maybe we don't really know where we're going to be at anyway until we get there.
Yeah, until we determine whether or not we could enter into some partnerships with the Eastern Ontario Trails Alliance and know exactly what the municipality's portion would be. A bit preliminary to talk about how that would impact our budget. However, if council gives staff the green light to investigate it and bring an application forward to council for consideration at the next meeting, we would have those discussions to see what that would look like.
Thanks, Christine. Councillor Thompson?
Yes, and if we were successful, it'd be good to know the time frame that you would be looking at. Like, you know, when it has to be spent. Like, I mean, if it would have to be a budget matter now, or could we defer that till next year? So it's just something to think about, I guess.
Thank
There
you.
is a information session on February 12th. So that's next week there. If I can send out a link to council on that type of thing. So, yeah.
Thank you, Brett. So we have a suggestion from Brett. Does someone want to, we're in the midst of his report, but we have to do that first. We can do that. So let's take one thing at a time. Let's just deal with this. Does anyone want to make a motion that we request staff to investigate and bring a report back to the next meeting? Moved by Councillor Yantch, seconded by Councillor Thompson. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Yantch?
Yes.
That motion is carried. Now we'll go back to Brett's report.
Yeah, so I was just about to start the waste portion of it. So the waste sites are running as usual. We're trying to get arrangements made to transfer the new Mterra to the new Mterra bins, and they're hauling. This is going to take some coordination, but we're going to try and make things as seamless as possible for everybody. The new bins are at the waste sites. They're just not in position to use yet. I have reached out to Mterra, and we're going out. We could be starting the new process as early as next week type of thing. So I'm just trying to coordinate things so we can have everybody there to discuss how we're going to plow and how we're going to direct traffic around the sites, because there's with the new bins, there's some new challenges as well. So.
Brett, would they be trying to transition all our sites at the same time, or?
Yeah,
Did they figure it out?
we would do all the sites at the same time. And it might not be all the same day type of thing, because we have different hours in each site, right? But yeah, we try and be consistent that way.
Thank you. Any questions for Brett? Deputy Reeve Hook?
I had a question on the Technical Advisory Committee report. I saw there that the county is looking into taking the patrol on the county roads in-house, whereas now they have the municipalities do it. Would that be, if that happened, would that be financially a negative thing for our budget, or how would that work?
And I think that's been put on hold since that meeting. So just to
Just ignore that then.
well, no, but as far as a negative impact to our municipality, there, I don't think it would be viable for them to go up to Denby to patrol Buckshot Lake Road. So they would probably still end up having our guys look after the road patrol in that situation. Now to the south, for example, Stone Mills patrols the south portion of 41 for us, just south of Highway 7, to give us updates and call us out for snow plowing operations currently. But yeah, I don't think it would hurt us as much as maybe some other municipalities. But some other municipalities might think it's a positive thing as well, by having different eyes on the road type of thing to look at it. So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Councillor Thompson?
Just have one question, Brett. The culvert in Denby, possibly getting gravel put on the approaches to that. I know it's slow driving a single lane, but it's like about this high, the lift there now, like just to make a smooth transition when you drive over it. So, because you actually have to stop, like you go and you hit it and then you hit the next one and then you go.
Yeah, we've put some material there to start with, and
Right.
maybe it just needs to be updated a little bit. So I know Perry was looking into that when
Okay.
I talked to him the other day. So
Okay, that's good. Thanks.
yeah, and it's tough with the winter, right? Like you're putting material down and then you're scraping off the snow, so the material goes off, right? So
Thank you, Brad. I do have one comment, well, two tied together. Just a quick one is certainly publicly, thank you very much for getting that one lane open on the Bridge Street culvert. It certainly helped a lot of people in the community because it made it easier for them to move around the community, and it's much appreciated by them. And thank you, as you mentioned, to your staff. We've been through an incredible month in particular, but of snow removal and road maintenance. And yeah, we're not the ones driving the plow trucks, so we don't realize what it is every day, day after day, doing that work. So it's much appreciated. Thank you. Any other? No questions? No. Okay, so we have a motion to receive Brett's report, moved by Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Yantch. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Yantch?
Yes.
That motion's carried. And thank you, Brett. And item 10.2, 10.2.1, an update from the CBO Facilities Manager, David.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Well, the one thing winter is good for is ice, and we've got lots of ice at lots of the rinks. I just had to throw that one in there. CBO report for January 2025. So just looking back, ended with 99 building permits, 35 septic permits being issued. It was a bit better year than I thought it would be. And I can tell you that this year is starting out slow again, as did last year. A lot of unknowns out there, and the economic realities are that people tend to pull back. But typically in the last few years, we haven't had a big snow cover, and a lot of people have kept on building during winter months. This year, with all the snow, it's kind of brought things to a halt. There is some action going on out there, and interest in new builds, certainly showing some signs of promise. I'm continuing inspections on existing builds, and there are, as I say, quite a few of those still going on. I did not think there would be, but once you get the shell up, of course, and you're working inside, it makes it very, a winner's project, a winner's day, if you will. Facilities management, rink attendants have both rinks in very good shape this year. I can't say enough good things about their dedication to their work. It's been incredible with all the snow, and I think they're doing a fantastic job. I'll make one point. We had a heater, a very small heater in the canteen room out here at Flinton for people to change their skates, kept it warm. It's gone missing. And so if anyone out there, and this is really for the audience, if anyone out there knows where that heater is, I would like it back, as it does provide warmth in the canteen room there for individuals to change their skates. On to other projects. Flooring project in Denby Hall should be underway shortly. Everything's in place. I understand the contractor's just lining up the sub-trades to put in play. And then we'll get that, I'd like to get that job done and completed in February if we can. Electrical upgrade at the Denby Hall is complete. We had Clancy and we had a few outlets in the hall area there that needed upgrading. Quite a few light switches put in here and there. A new freezer was purchased for Denby Hall bar area. That one was on the, went on the blink and it looked like it was 30-some years old. Had a little age to it. Temporary fencing has been installed around the Flinton Hall. Traffic involving four-wheelers and snowmobilers were creating a dangerous situation, and fencing became the only option there. Even yesterday, I believe it was Brad telling me that snowmobiles were still crossing our path into the building right along front here. You can't fence everything off, but I would caution individuals out there using four-wheelers and snowmobilers alike. Be careful. There are obstacles. We fence as much as we possibly can to make it safe, and don't snowmobile so close to the fence. We've had a couple of pieces torn down. Guys flipping the rear of the snowmobile and catching the fence. Tears easy. Keep well aside of it, and I think that's great for everybody's safety. Bylaw enforcement. Dog complaints have had a quiet month. Please note that all dogs, and again, all dogs must be kept on a leash or in a fenced-in area when outside. Dogs running at large will be picked up by animal control, and fines do apply in that case. So we're trying to keep the neighborhood safe. We've got a lot of seniors that love to walk the roads, and God bless them for wanting to walk the roads. It's great exercise, but they shouldn't have to fear animals running at large. So please keep your pets on a leash in a fenced-in area, and I think it makes for a very happy situation. That's my report. Questions?
Thank you, David. Go ahead, Deputy Reeve Hook.
Just a question on the canteen. There's plumbing in there, right? So we need heat in the canteen or no?
No, there is no plumbing in the canteen change room.
Oh,
I
okay.
should say the change
The
room.
change room is fine though. There's heat in there.
There is no heat in the change room. The change room does not have any plumbing, and there is no heat in there at the moment because that's where the heater
Oh,
went
okay, the
missing.
change room. Okay,
Mhm.
not the
Yep.
bath, not the washrooms. Okay,
Yeah, no, the washrooms are fine.
great.
Councilor Yance.
But having said that, are we going to replace that heater?
I'm hoping, Helen, that it shows up here in a couple of days.
Okay, and if it doesn't?
I think the weather's getting fairly warmer next
Oh.
week. I would point that question back to Christine.
Yes, we will replace the heater. However, it was a brand new heater. So we just replaced the heater. It's a bit frustrating when you try to supply the community with facilities that, are fun to use and make it comfortable for them. And you're faced with challenges like this. So yes, we will replace the heater. But yeah, once again.
Councilor Thompson.
Yeah, so I think, there's not just one person knows who took this. There's going to be people that know who took it. I mean, I think maybe just putting a notice and just say, please return it, or you're going to have a cold place. That's all there is to it. Gotta go for, but
Anyway, yes, frustrating.
Truly.
Yeah. Any other questions for David? No, well, thank you very much for your report, David.
You're welcome.
Yep. And we'll get to enjoy our rinks for another 3 months. Okay, till July. Okay, let's move
You'll
on.
be worn out by then, Jim.
Let's move on. Okay,
should receive this report.
moved by Councilor Thompson, second by Deputy Reeve Hook. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yantch.
Yes.
The motion's carried. Anything from the CEO, clerk, treasurer? Nothing. Deputy clerk, planning secretary, anything else? Nothing. No, deputy, fire chief, 10-6, forest fire agreement with MNRF, Casey.
Yeah, so many years ago, I haven't gone back to see how many years ago, the MNRF, came out with, I guess I should back up a little farther. Patented land is required that we look after it for fire protection, and the MNR looks after the crown land. And many years ago, they came out with the opportunity to enter in agreements with them. There's a lot of perks to the agreement because of the fact that there are areas of private land that are really hard for us to get to, or they're high-risk areas, which in the agreement, we can sort of dump on them. And we'll take pieces of crown land in exchange, which have never had a fire on it, or we can get to it easily, that type of thing. There's also perks with regards to if we require a water bomber. With the agreement, we don't have to pay for the water bomber until it's actually on the fire. Without the agreement, we pay for wherever it takes off from. So if it's an hour away, we're paying $5,000 for an hour of flight time before we ever see it. So there's a number of benefits to it. It's the same agreement that we've had for many years. It's just up for renewal. So it's at that point where just looking for direction to renew the agreement, basically.
Thank you, Casey. So I have questions for Casey. Any questions on it? Deputy Reeve Hook?
On the background information, first paragraph, no, it's not the last, end of the first paragraph, it says the Crown pays the municipality annually for protection services working out to about $350. Is that right? 350?
Yeah, so in the land exchange where we cover some crown land for them and they cover private land for us, in the end, it works out that we cover a little bit more crown land for them than what they cover for us. And I think it's like $1 a hectare difference. There's a dollar price, and I can't remember exactly what it was. It was 95 a year or so ago, and every year it's based on CPI. So it works out that they end up paying us a little bit each year.
Pretty well even then.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We set it up that way.
Okay.
Any other questions for Casey? There's a recommendation here to receive the port and authorize him to sign, Casey to sign the agreement. Moved by Deputy Reeve Hook, seconded by Councillor Yantch. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Yantch?
Yes.
That motion is carried. Thank you, Casey. Okay, any reports of appointees?
Meetings yet this year.
Nothing there. Any resolutions? Approval of the accounts of January 31st. Moved by Councillor Thompson. Second by Councillor Yantch. Are there any questions on the accounts? Let's see. We'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Yantch?
Yes.
And that motion is carried. Any members' statements? I have a one-line statement just on the, was discussed at previous council on the Cloyne Health Unit building and the food bank that's in it. There was a meeting with the Reeve and CAO of North Frontenac and our deputy clerk and myself on January 28th. So it was a good discussion. I'm not going to provide any report to council because we're just looking at a lot of buildings and we got some work to do. So, but it's in the works and we're in close consultation with Red and Lois as well to run the food bank. So we will move on to. You need a motion to receive that report? No, I don't think so. New business, any new business? None noted. Bylaws, 16.1, bylaw 1009/2026 regarding our interim tax levy. So we get three readings
Three readings.
by Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Yance. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yance, and that motion's carried. Then we have bylaw 1010/2026 to execute the agreement with Orange regarding the Northbrook helipad. Three readings moved by Councillor Deputy Reeve Hook, seconded by Councillor Yance. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson.
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yance.
Yes.
That motion's carried. And the 16.3 bylaw 1011/2026 bylaw to authorize the execution of a transfer payment is related to the pothole prevention program. Three readings. Councillor Thompson, Councillor Yance. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yance, and that motion is carried. And the next thing we got on the agenda is a closed meeting. So we did a resolution. Do we say the statement first? Yeah, so pursuant to section 239(2) of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, this part of the meeting will be closed to the public in order to adopt closed meeting minutes of December 16th, 2025, and to receive an update regarding personal information about an identifiable individual, more specifically a township employee. Also receive resumes for the temporary part-time office assistant position and select applicants for an interview, and to receive an update on regarding litigation affecting the municipality. We have a motion to go into close, moved by Councillor Yance, seconded by Deputy Reeve Hook. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson.
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yance.
Yes.
And that motion is carried. Now we will go into closed. Closed meeting was held at 2:44 PM today pursuant to Section 239-2 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, in order to adopt closed meeting minutes of December 16th and to receive an update containing personal information about an identifiable individual, more specifically a township employee, to receive resumes for the temporary part-time office assistant position and select applicants for an interview, and to receive an update regarding litigation affecting the municipality. I have a motion that it be resolved that recommendations in the closed meeting be adopted. Moved by Deputy Reeve Hook, seconded by Councillor Thompson. We'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Yatch?
Yes.
And that motion is carried. Confirming bylaw, 3 readings. Moved by Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Yatch. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Yatch?
Yes.
That motion's carried. And a motion to adjourn. Councillor Thompson, Councillor Yatch. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Yatch?
Yes.
And that motion is carried and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone, today. Have a great